All right. Yeah, you can go right ahead.
So for me personally, the question you asked of why I transferred my daughter out the district and why I believe so many families have followed suit, it just goes back to the fight that we were in from the beginning. A few years ago, they decided to vote to close Rich East, something that they've been, I'm speaking they as far as the Board of Education for 227 Parkforest School District. They voted to close Rich East, which was a decision in the making from stemming a few years prior before that. Um, Deeply rooted in political views, deeply rooted in just mismanagement of resources, of not updating the school, not taking care of the school. I believe at one point it was stated that they were supposed to receive some type of state grant or state funds to come in and take up the school. So to come in and rebuild and fix up the school. And so they neglected it on purpose to receive those funds. And it's just a whole lot of misunderstanding that it was not really clear transparency with the community. And so when they come up to this date where they finally close Rich East, it uproared the whole community. And I stood on the front lines of that battle along with a few others to push back against that. We're talking a community that is in Illinois, which is one of the highest taxing bodies in the nation. We're talking Cook County, one of the highest taxing counties in Illinois. Excuse me. And then we're talking Parkforest, the highest taxing body in Cook County. So we're roughly speaking, Parkforest is the highest taxing body in the whole entire country. And so with that said, the lack of grocery stores, losing a school, that was one of the things that we as a community prided ourselves on with a number of other things. And I'm not knocking and bashing this community because we're rebuilding, we're getting things to a better position. But the school we had our pride, our joy in, the numbers as far as graduates was the highest in the district. The test scores were the highest in the district. The athletics was probably one of the greatest schools, out of the three that they combined in the district. And so because of that, and because of my stance, I decided to not send my daughter to 227. I felt that I couldn't be against what they were doing. The receiving of the $105 million of bond money, excuse me, not a lot of transparency as far as what that was being spent on. And so I said I couldn't be a part of it. And so myself and a few other families have followed suit. Also, the fighting that has been taking place. And again, we know that it's taking place all across the nation. The pandemic really exposed us to a lot of things. As the kids got back into school, we really seen a rise of what in education we call social and emotional learning. We've seen a rise in the need for specialists and other people to come in to work with our children. So I'm not knocking the fact that this is not taking place all over. It is, but especially in 227, it's pretty grievous. Hit the news a couple of times. Teacher complaints about safety and just a lot of different concerns is one of the reasons why myself and a lot of other families followed suit and removing their children out of the district.
Certainly, yeah. Well, one more thing I wanted to ask is, what do you think should happen from here? Or what do you think can happen to kind of rebuild some of that trust that you feel has been lost throughout this process?
Uh, I truly believe that transparency is the biggest factor. Just being transparent with all of your stakeholders. We as Park Forest felt as if that we have been on the island and isolated, out of decision makings and pushed aside from the table when we have a lot to bring to the table. In the previous election, when certain people got elected, Park Forest was one of the highest vote givers. Um, and I'm not going to say any names, but I'll say one particular board member, more than half her votes came out of Park Forest that voted to close Rich East. And so if it's almost back to the old saying that there's no taxation without representation, we can't give you our vote or give you our support or give you our allegiance here in this community, and you're not giving us anything in return. So I believe the bill that is definitely going to be more transparent, more open to bringing Parkforest to the table to say, hey, these are some of the decisions we're making, and this is why. And let's rebuttal. Let's go back and forth and say, how do we come to an equitable situation that benefits both parties? I do want to add, have been reached out to as of late by Dr. Thomas and some other people, Calvin Jordan, which I definitely 100% respect, has reached out to try to help build those gaps here in Rich Township, even though it wasn't his decision to close Rich East. And I understand where he stands. And he's definitely reached out, excuse me, to connect some of those bridges into for a better Rich Township. And so with that said, I was able to go to one of the campuses and see the field house and to see some of the things that they put some of the bond money, that the people's bond money into the building up of Rich South. Again, we're saddened that we lost Rich East, but I'm not one that says, hey, I'm going to stay here forever. No, I'm going to fight, and hopefully, we get something back here. They're working on a plan to bring forth a trade school. And so some of the elected officials, like I said, Calvin Jordan himself, and some of our senators, Dr. Johnny Thomas, and the Board of Education are working on a game plan to bring something here instead of Rich East. So if we can get that trade school, that would be a step in the right direction. And if we can be equitable and allow people from this community to come to the table where the decision making is taking place.
Yeah, thanks a lot for sharing your thoughts on that. Let me go ahead and